This is Newcap News with Adam McVicker.
Well, in order to have the perfect holiday season, your best bet might be to acknowledge that it's not going to be perfect. According to some mental health experts, trying to achieve the perfect Christmas is potentially harmful to your mental state. This is a combination of feeling disappointment when hitches come up during holiday planning, along with the pressure of food, finances, and time.
It's a horrible tragedy. Right before Christmas.
The cash crunch issue, trying to please your family or your friends, having to keep up appearances with sometimes family that or friends that you really haven't got along.
One of the best ways to cope is to get out of the house for some exercise.
Your best bet is, if it's really very cold, is to bundle up and even go for a walk. Shovel snow if you want to, and that helps a little bit.
Other recommendations include maintaining sleep and staying hydrated. Well, to federal politics, 2016 was a year filled with promises and plans by the Trudeau government. Our Gina Martin sat down with Battlefords-Lloydminster Conservative MP Gerry Ritz to get his thoughts on the last year and his plans for 2017.
A very up and down year for sure in Parliament. What were some highlights for you?
Just getting used to being back in the opposition again. Of course, the first almost 10 years opposition, then 10 years in government. Now we're back into the opposition again. It's a different role model, absolutely. I'm very fortunate. I sit on the International Trade Committee. We've been able to move the goalposts a little bit. We just did clause by clause on the CETA agreement, Canada-European Union. Very, very happy to get that moved that far. At the end of the year, I was very much involved in the negotiations of that over the time frame that we were in government.
Excellent. Yeah, CETA was huge, definitely for us here in Canada. Any other points, agreements, especially with trade, that maybe you'd like to discuss? TPP,
sure.
Maybe?
TPP, absolutely. We've got a government of the day right now that seems to be dragging their feet on it, waiting to see what the Americans are going to do. We don't have to do that. We have the strength to work with willing partners throughout the TPP. Japan has already ratified, and of course they're the crown jewel that every other country wants to negotiate and deal with. So everybody says, well, let's just do a bilateral with Japan, but it would never be to the same ambition, we call it, in trade agreements that we have in that multilateral agreement called the TPP. 5 or 6 of the major players are moving ahead. There's no reason that we shouldn't be as well. So that's our next order of business, is pushing that one hard when we get back in the House in January.
What will you be trying to fight for come 2017 here?
Well, some common sense, some level-headedness. The deficit they promised, $10 billion, is now ballooned to $100 billion. They've got a few more decimal points and zeros added in there. It's very telling to me that the people that are, they're most vociferous about getting on top of climate at any cost aren't concerned about the debt we're leaving our grandkids. So it's going to be a tough situation for them to face as they bring forward another budget for 2017.
It was an exciting year for the Lloydminster Public School Division as well. Once again, Gina Martin sat down with Education Director Todd Robinson to talk about the highlights of the year and what's still to come.
I'm joined today by Todd Robinson, Director of Education with the Lloydminster Public School Division. Thanks again, Todd, for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. Again, we'll just start with how the school year went. What are some highlights that you'd like to talk about?
Well, 2016 was a great year for Lloyd Public, and maybe I'll start by talking a little bit about the student success that we had in our system this year. And we're really, really proud of our kids and some of the academic achievements that they had. We've focused really hard on ensuring that kids, by the time they get to grade 3, are reading at grade level, and there's lots of research to suggest that if we can reach that bar, that kids will be successful as they work their way through school. And we continue to have a significant percentage of our kids reach that bar, and we're really proud of that. Secondly, our graduation rates. And last year we had a very large cohort of students that graduated, and some just amazing kids in that group. And one particular achievement was Avery Outreach School, which graduated 31 kids last year, which is the largest graduation class in their history. And so a really, really unique achievement, and some really excited kids that have worked really hard to get their grade 12 diploma, and they've done that, and they're on to greater and bigger things as they move forward.
Moving on into 2017, what are some of the hopes for the school district?
Well, we're really excited about 2017. We're anticipating that, like other years, it might have its own challenges and things that we have to work through. But we are really focusing on some innovation for 2017. We're looking at options to add programming maybe that isn't available in the city at this point to, I guess, increase the availability for our citizens. We're looking at new programs that will engage our kids in ways we've never been able to engage them before. And we're really excited about those things. So we certainly invite the community to stay tuned around those changes and look forward to chatting with them about that in the near future.
Well, January marks the start of the second half of the season for many Lakeland College athletic programs. For one of its women's programs, though, it's also an opportunity to get back to its winning ways. Lance Phillips has more.
Take a look at the ACAC women's basketball standings, and you'll find the Lakeland Rustlers in 4th place. Quite different from last season's undefeated team. At 7-5, the season hasn't been what the team expected, but a flip of the calendar means a flip of the team's view of what it needs to do to be competitive in a tough ACAC North Division.
Of our 5 losses, 4 of them were very close games. We also had someone missing in each one of those games. So 1, we need to be healthy, and 2, we got to focus defensively on just little things, communication, rebounding the ball. So I think we're very close. I don't think the kids quite understand how close we are to being that top program like we usually see ourselves.
I think it would just take care of the little things as far as getting our defense and running our offense very smoothly. I was injured for the last part about it, but I mean, honestly, it's in the past now, so I'm ready to get back on the court.
Coach King's New Year's resolution is for his team to have a 10-2 second half record. Although a tall order for any squad, his players believe they're capable of this goal and more.
I think for sure we can do 10-2. I think we could even go undefeated second semester, but that's just if we buy in after Cuba and we buy into all our practices. I think if we work really, really hard, we'll be able to do it because we have the skill level. Every other year we've gotten by on skill. This year we're getting by kind of on skill. Like we're just getting by. So if we all buy in and work hard in Cuba and then work hard when we get back, we definitely could get 10-2 and battle through playoffs hopefully.
I think we're capable of 12-0. I think like once our chemistry gets closer and once we get all of our players back, like I think it's going to be good. I think we can go 12-0.
It's all effort and confidence. Confidence is definitely a main key also because we need that for our shooters on our team. So with that being said, 10-2 is actually very doable as well as being undefeated.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.